Our next speaker is Dr. Michele Mosca, and he is co-founder and president, CEO of evolutionQ, and he's a founder of the Institute for Quantum Computing at the University of Waterloo. He's a professor in the Department of Combinatorics and Optimization of the Faculty of Mathematics and a founding member of Waterloo's Perimeter Institute for Theoretical Physics. He was the founding director of CryptoWorks 21, a training program in quantum-safe cryptography, and he founded a quantum-safe cryptography workshop series in the non-for-profit Quantum Safe Canada. He co-founded evolutionQ to support organizations as they make their transition and evolve from their quantum vulnerable systems to quantum safe systems. He has many awards and recognitions, including knighthood in the Order of Merit of the Italian Republic for his contributions in quantum and cybersecurity. With that, please welcome Dr. Mosca.
Thanks, Stu, for the kind introduction. It's really a pleasure and honor to be here with all of you. I look forward to chatting with many of you after this. So as this new world of quantum technology, it's already coming into contact with the existing global economy and an array of technologies we have. Is it going to be a destructive collision, or is it going to be a convergence? Right? An alignment, a strengthening, or we're going to build a much better world. That's ultimately a choice. It's not something to predict or guess, it's something to decide and create. And part of that comes down to, are we optimizing for innovation-driven prosperity, right? Really long-term value creation, or are we just kind of going to enjoy the sugar high of innovation theater, right? Again, this is a choice for us to make as we move forward. And to be fair, it's not easy, because the risk-opportunity profile of quantum technologies is unprecedented. Okay. On the one hand, the potential impact is off the charts, unimaginable for most people. And on the other hand, if you say, yeah, but where, when, and how, and then there's a great uncertainty there, right? So very high variance and a high mean. How are you supposed to navigate that? And of course, I'm coming after the ARPA director. They've done an amazing job, as well as DARPA, at doing precisely that, reducing the variance, creating clarity, moving us faster, better toward translating disruptive innovations into economic prosperity and capabilities. But what works? And what's been demonstrated to work for the great companies is this discipline of firing bullets and then helping you zero in on where to launch the cannonballs, right? And in quantum computing and quantum sensing and so on, what this requires is for the people who need solutions to hard problems to work closely with the small and medium companies and the units within the larger companies who are world experts at this new technology and what it can do and creating its future and its new capabilities and working together to reduce that uncertainty, right? To better define the opportunity. Right? That's what, and it's got to be, low cost, low risk, low distraction initially. And then as you start to better understand, then you can start launching more well-funded, ambitious, cannonball type projects. And I would urge people to pay these companies for the value they're providing you. You pay money for insurance to reduce your risk. You pay money for all sorts of other reports and analyses. They're creating tremendous value for you by reducing the uncertainty, right? And really setting you on a great track. So it's important to help them help you to create the supply chain you're going to need to navigate this quantum-enabled future. Why are we so confident that there's this exponential, capability out there? Right? Well, because what we learned in 1994, thanks to Peter Shor, these codes that now underpin and have underpinned, I think, the last 30 years of economic growth. One of the key enablers of the last 30 years of economic growth has been a handful of cryptographic algorithms that enabled us to leverage global telecommunications and digital technologies like we otherwise could not. Right? But we've created this very fragile economy. Right? Because quantum takes these codes which, if all goes well, would take forever to break, but breaks them in hours, if not less. So a huge eye-opener, a fluke, because normally when codes are broken, people don't tell you, and you don't get to call time out and have 30 years to fix it. So this is a blessing in disguise to shine a light on the fragility in our global economy and give us time to fix it and make it not just secure against this particular threat, because if it wasn't quantum, it could have been a classical attack, and we didn't know about it, and it wasn't from friendly Peter Shore. So next time, we shouldn't count on being so lucky. The market forces do not reward or encourage what we know is necessary, have not created cryptographic resilience. Even though experts have said we need to do it, market forces have not delivered that for us. Right? What it takes is for people to assume their implicit responsibilities, right? Not the ones they're going to get rewarded for with their Christmas bonus or their next promotion, but their implicit responsibilities, to embrace them and to demonstrate true leadership. And it does happen from time, not a lot, but it does happen from time to time. We do see it. We want to recognize, reward it, replicate it, right? And seize those and just engender more of it. And some really prime examples in this space are what the NSA and NIST have done. Right? It was just mentioned by the previous speaker. That, to me, that was a really important milestone, right, in human history. That leadership, that foresight, that clear, simple directive that's been enabled is really important for the future of our global economy and our common well-being. Right? But why don't we have a timeline for the financial sector, for the telco sector, for the energy sector? Where is it? When are we going to get that clear guidance? When are we going to get that leadership? Now, there's others who don't have the mandate, don't have the authority, but are leading nonetheless, right? With what they can do, such as, we got FSISAC and the group SIFTER, which is a partnership between the Canadian government and industry, World Economic Forum and others. These are experts really going beyond, staying in their lane, but going beyond the call of duty and creating the awareness, the best practices, just taking the horses to as close to the water as you could possibly imagine. But somebody has to convince the horses to drink, right? And again, the US government has done it. The White House has been demonstrating amazing leadership here in its directives. Clear, simple, and appropriate. We need more of that. And there's a handful of other examples, not many. We got the BSI in Germany, right? Etsy, Singapore government. There's a handful of other examples like this. We need more of that. Because ultimately, hope and luck are not a strategy. And we've just been lucky. We need to now recognize how lucky we've been and start designing for cryptographic resilience by design so we can have a resilient economy and society by design. So auditors, regulators, anybody responsible for managing risk and uncertainty, this is a no-brainer checklist that we do for many other things. We need to be doing it for cryptography as well. If we're going to rely so fundamentally and systemically on a cryptographic algorithm, it's pretty reasonable to expect, it's not just reasonable, it's required. What happens if it breaks? Because we know it could break. It's pretty good, it might not break. We create tremendous value by relying on it, but what if something does go wrong? Do we even know what happens? That requires quantum risk assessments, cryptographic inventories, and so on, right? And these, by the way, don't have to go one before the other. I think you don't need to do the bottom up. Let's spend the next however many years coming up with cryptographic inventory and then assess the risk. For a decade, we've been doing the top-down quantum risk assessments, which takes us to the technology. You can also you want to do both at the end of the day, but the journey, you can do one or the other in either order. Great, so now I understand the problem, and you want to be able to say, hey, and if something does go wrong, we'll be able to detect and remediate and get things back to normal in an acceptable amount of time. That's a so-called, sorry, my bubbles have been shifted here, but that's what things like cryptographic agility we hear about is meant to enable. It's just a quick recovery when something does go wrong. Don't panic, don't worry, embrace the wonderful value-creating capabilities that public key cryptography allows, and just prepare. And then you also need to be able to articulate, if something does go wrong, it is a recoverable event. It's not going to be catastrophic, right? And that's where we need things like cryptographic defense in depth. To achieve these things, right, what are the tools we have available? Well, there's a 2.0 version of public key cryptography, and I've already mentioned the post-quantum cryptography. That's going to enable us to do public key cryptography better than we ever had. And again, absolutely imperative to get that done right and done quickly. And there's some innovation, and there's great innovation and commercialization opportunities there, right, and making things better by design with that. The other tools we have are the ones we had before public key cryptography in the 80s and so on. Not as scalable, not as scalable and easy to use as public key cryptography, but they worked and they're secure. But public key cryptography allowed a whole other scale of economic growth. But what a number of players are doing, and actually Adrian Stanger from the NSA challenged us at the crypto conference a few weeks ago, how close to internet scale can we get with these techniques? Applying what we've learned over the last 40 years, what's a 21st century reincarnation of these building blocks to have more scalable use cases we never imagined in the 80s? And there's a number of products, and we've pioneered a solution and a product in this space as well. So there's great economic opportunity. So you get to create the resilience, but there's economic opportunity as well in creating that resilience. And these three that I've mentioned on the right, these are really in the classical world, right? But preparing for these quantum computing capabilities, and that's really one community, one trade craft. But the quantum world is going to give us new tools to better protect the digital economy. So Yikai Liu and Dustin Moody wrote a nice paper about it a few weeks ago, just went online, right? And quantum key exchange is one of those, right? Very different, and we should prepare for a convergence of this, right? So it's just an evolution and not one disrupting or replacing the other type. We need all of these tools in their appropriate place. They're not competing with each other. So navigating this uncertain quantum future, it's not easy, right? But it's, if there wouldn't be an opportunity if it was easy, okay? So navigating the uncertainty is really a great business and economic opportunity if you can do it more wisely and effectively than others. And many of us are here to help. I started with the Mosca equation many years ago, really at the core of quantum risk management. Over the years, our team has evolved into helping people not just understand the problem, but what are the milestones we need to achieve and when and how? Right? And what new tools do we need? And we've developed some of those new tools. So that's part of our overall offering. And there's many other companies around the world helping on the services side, but also creating the new tools we need to help us safely harness quantum computing, right? And create these new economic opportunities with the new innovations needed to help us achieve cryptographic resilience. I also want to highlight for the quantum policy folk, because often I think a really critical imperative is that quantum innovation strategies have to meet the cybersecurity community where it is. Because very often the mentality is, yeah, but that's not really that innovative. There's no H-bar. It's not quantum. Market forces will take care of that. Cybersecurity is one of the greatest market failures we've ever seen. So counting on the market forces to take your opportunity and bring it to reality is choosing failure, is deciding to not let quantum computing be a positive milestone, is deciding not to leverage all the positive, security capabilities of quantum communication networks. So it's got to be an integrated part. These are different communities, different DNA. We have to work together. And again, it's critical for quantum innovation to meet cybersecurity where it is. So, PQC migration, right? Firing bullets for cannonballs, cryptographic resilience by design. These are ideas that are first ridiculed, violently opposed, and then suddenly accepted as self-evident. But then there's the fourth Schopenhauer phase, according to Manfred Lochte, right? Which is those who opposed you ask, why aren't you done yet? Right? And you won't be able to call time out and catch up on that lost time. So it's really valuable and important that we're getting ahead of this and being prepared for that sudden flip when suddenly the market forces are pulling, that we're ready to deliver. Because with cybersecurity, we can't be too late. We don't want to rush and be too late, and we don't want to rush and deploy solutions that are vulnerable because we rushed. So it's really important to anticipate this fourth phase. And again, I applaud Quantum World Congress for bringing together this really diverse and important group of stakeholders to work on this journey together. Thanks very much for your attention.